a conglomerate, privately held company, something, something or other. So they're still influenced,
Yeah.
as it were, by certain things. Usually pharmaceuticals, sometimes herbals or supplements or whatever, but they get paid advertising. So it really depends on what you're getting, you know, where their source of funds is coming from might dictate, no matter how much they say it's not.
Right.
If you've been sued a couple times, whether or not they won or lost or you settled, chances are your things might be a little skewed. So it's not that you shouldn't go to those sources, but you should kind of take it with a grain of salt, as it were.
Well, and in the Noom program that I'm in, that's one of the first things they tell you is if you're reading an article or you're looking at something, trace it back to who's actually writing it and where it's at.
Right.
And is it, are they writing that because they've got money in, big pharma? Are they writing it because,
Right.
it's true and
Who's
yeah,
supporting the
yeah,
production of that show?
right.
And that's there's a lot to be said for that. I am a dork.
Welcome in, Gwen. Thanks for remembering.
Oh, she found us. Though all the times we have the technical difficulties, she finally found us.
Yeah.
I like PubMed, the medical publications. If you are super bored and need something to fall asleep by, and you have a base knowledge of medical terminology, you can read through 70 million pages to find out an abstract of a theory of a trial. And those are things where if a doctor actually does a scientific trial with controls the way they're supposed
Yeah.
to be done, that's accepted in the medical profession, and so on and so forth, those are the ones that you want to read. However, not everybody can understand those.
Yeah.
Not I can barely understand them. My sister, who's a nurse and had been going to school like pretty much all of her entire life. Some of these are still even, she's, like, holy crap. It's a lot. It's a lot. So it's hard to find the right information. The problem is everybody stops when they find the answer that fits their ideology. So if I tell you that, this garlic supplement is going to save your heart and you're never going to have another problem again, you're going to go, sweet, I'm going to start taking garlic. I'm going to eat garlic. I'm going to bathe in garlic. I'm going to take all the garlic I want. And you're not going to read any further. And that's where the problem is everybody, you see these diets, you see the keto diets, you see the cabbage soup diets and all of these supplements and essential oils and CBD oils. And it's not that they're bad, but it's also not necessarily that they're good. So you have to pay attention to the source. So essential oils.
Big thing right now.
It is. And there's so many dangerous things about essential oils. A, they interact with a lot of things. B, they're usually super concentrated. So if you're relying on some punk kid at some nutrition store to say that you can take this...
Or mom, who's
right.
in a multi-level thing.
Right. Now, here's what's funny is I have probably a million people going, well, Mary, you've been pushing an oil of oregano for as long as I've known you.
But that works. That's good stuff.
So now here's the thing. A lot of people know this story that know me. Many, many, many years ago, I was in an office environment. I had a dental procedure done. I didn't have any more time off, sick pay to take. And the dentist that I had at the time, the hygienist or whatever, the way she was resting her hand in my mouth to do whatever she needed to do, she kept grinding on my lower lip and I didn't know it. So the next day I had a canker sore the size of a quarter in my mouth. So the doctor gives me a medication for it, help it heal faster. But if anybody's ever had a canker sore, they know that you're stuck with it for a good solid week.
That's right. No way around it.
I lost like 10 pounds in 3 days. I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink anything. It was huge. It was horrible. It's not one that you can just live through. It was god awful.
And a good way to get rid of it is putting salt right on it.
Right.
You can't do that.
Well, then I could. This is 20-some years, 25 years ago. So I'm sitting in my office. There was a lady that I used to work with that was holistic, herbal, hippie, tree hugging. I have a cure for everything. Like, oh my God, rub cat shit on it for 3 days and it'll be gone. Like, she had a cure for everything. So she comes in and I just wanted her to leave. At this point, I've got a headache. I just want to go home. I'm miserable. I'm young. I'm a big spoiled brat. And she says, I have this stuff. It's this oil of oregano. It'll be gone in two days. Literally, no joke, was like, I don't care if you wanted to hand me a bowl of vomit. If it will get you out of my office to leave me alone, I will take it. I don't care. Crack, meth,
right.
Whatever you want. I don't care. Inject it right into my vein. I don't care if it shuts you up. It makes you leave me be. I will take it. So she did. She gives me 2 little drops of this oil of oregano right on my big giant canker sore. Burned. I wanted to die. Yeah. I almost killed her. But no joke, it was gone in less than 48 hours. So I go, I'm going to research this stuff. And I did a lot of research about it. And even with a lot of research, there's nothing to find. One thing says take a whole bottle. One thing says only take 1 drop. It's a concentrated oil from the oregano leaf, and it's potent stuff.
But it boosts your immunity.
It does. It boosts. It's antiviral,
Yeah.
antifungal,
Like
antibacterial. Mm-hmm. It does not kill beneficial bacteria. My husband's used it to kill athlete's foot that he used to get no matter what cream that he ever had.
So he actually is putting his toes in your mouth?
Yeah. Right.
Whatever happens.
Hey, man. My house is like Vegas. We don't talk about that.
That's right.
So
Gwen says apple cider vinegar works well, but is it painful?
Yes, right. Exactly. So there are a lot of these essential oils do work really well, but people don't realize, like in that little tiny itty bitty, I mean, it looks like a little tiny eyedropper bottle. Mm-hmm. It's like a ½ ounce or something. It's super small, and they're expensive. It's like $50. But it's concentrated, so it's 1 or 2 drops of oil from the oregano plant, and the rest is a purified olive oil or something to cut it because of how potent it is. So you can't just, and that's the same with all these other oils. You have to know what you're doing. The problem is there's no studies, there's no clinical trials, there's observations of people who have willingly taken it. So that's not that it's useful information for me to say I've been taking it for 20 years and I've had these results. But you have no other control, you have no other anything else. And even my sister was like, the first thing out of her mouth was, I was reading on the oil of oregano that you take, is there any way that could have caused your liver failure? And I was like, based on my research, no. Is it still possible? Absolutely. It really is. I could have also eaten too much vitamin A over the course of my life, causing the same problem.
Right.
Now, the other thing that people don't think about is if you have pets. So I have 2 cats. We used to have a dog. And things that people don't think about, like garlic, is usually pretty bad for dogs and cats. So I make a point, if I am cutting garlic, which I do all the time.
Right.
I mean, I damn near bathe in this stuff. So I make a point to, if it drops on the floor, I won't, because the oil from the garlic can cause almost like chemical burn type reactions on my cats. Mm-hmm. So just them walking across the floor and getting it stuck to the pad of their foot can be problematic. Cinnamon is another one. So cinnamon will actually ward off ticks. So you can just cover your entire yard in cinnamon or plant cinnamon. But the problem is it will literally, so if your dog goes out and rolls in the yard, there's cinnamon in your grass, the oil from the cinnamon will cause chemical burns and almost strip their fur off.
Wow.
So everybody knows, a lot of people know that dogs are usually allergic to chocolate.
Yeah.
Not like milk chocolate M&Ms, like the actual dark cocoa.
Yeah.
They're, so if you have good nice chocolate, they're probably going to get sick from that. Same concept. So if you have these essential oils, either burning or taking them or whatever, and you have pets in your house or small children, that could be a really, really bad scenario for a serious issue if they get into that.
Mm-hmm.
So you that's the problem, is you go to a site that says, hey, take some cinnamon oil, it can help with this, that, or the other, or any of these other, there's whole host of the wintergreen, the pine,
Yeah.
sweet birch, tea tree oils, which everybody knows tea tree oils if you have ever heard anything about melaleuca. Peppermint, cinnamon, citruses, a lot of the garlic family, stuff like that. They're bad for animals, so you have to be mindful of those. And if they're bad for animals, chances are you might want to do a little bit of research to see what it's going to do to you. And if it's metabolized through your liver and your organs, because it could be causing further problems.
Well, what throws people, right, is, hey, it's natural. It's all natural.
Until we mess with it. That's the problem.
It's all natural. It's good for you. Hey, just a little bit.
Yeah, that's... Oh my gosh, I see all these people. Hi, everybody. It's just paying attention to everybody chime in. Our screens are a little different today because we were having... Oh, there we are.
There we are.
We're on the other side. Yeah, so it's...
doTERRA oils is what Beulah says.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing is, it's not that they're bad, but anything that can be good for you can also be bad for you.
Yeah.
That's just fact.
Well, at one time, right, cocaine was cure-all. You need a little...
mercury.
Yeah.
Crack.
A little shot of mercury.
Like,
you're going to be fine.
They put it... some of the stuff that they used to... Cyanide.
Yeah.
They put it in all sorts of stuff.
And I think what... In what I love about your show, being new to the production booth here...
My other producers already forgot about me, so don't even worry about it.
Living Low Sodium and Pete, it's on Mondays at 5 as he calls 3 minutes to airtime.
Right.
Is people don't understand how the body works.
Right.
Exactly what so what I try to explain to people is the liver. If you take a look at your furnace, the liver's the filter.
It's a big sponge.
That just everything kind of passes through it. It catches some stuff.
It's the coffee filter of your veins.
Yeah.
Essentially.
So whatever you're putting in there, it's got to go through that filter.
There's very, very few things that don't metabolize through your liver. Yeah, cocaine was pain reliever.
In the 2900s. I think she's using it right now.
It's coming back. He's bringing it back. He's bringing it back. So it's so funny when someone says something to me about like a painkiller or an ibuprofen or, this, that, or the other. It's like, I can't take it. I can't take it. I can't take it. I can't take it. And the next one is CBD oil.
This is hot. This is hot right now.
I've been watching the research closely because it's one of the few things that has enough momentum behind it that it might actually get some very decent, and it's already on PubMed. So like oil of oregano is one of the few herbal supplements that I have found that actually has validated clinical trials on PubMed. They're for catheters because of their antiviral, antifungal, and antibacterial qualities. The components in those oil compounds is something that they could use for people who have to self-cath so that they reduce the amount of risk of infection and so on and so forth. Because if you imagine every time you have to go to the bathroom, if you had to self-cath, that you're opening yourself up to huge infections. So the CBD oils, as everybody knows and has heard, that's part of the reason I put, cures everything. Because anyone you talk to, oh, you got a bad knee? CBD oil. You got migraine? CBD oil. You got liver disease? CBD oil. It fixes everything, and everyone has a different opinion.
Endocannabinoid system.
Right.
And it's
metabolized through the liver.
And it's probably a very good. Well, it is. It's a very good. If you have inflammation, it reduces that.
So, Tony. No, not Tony. What is his name? Tommy. Chong.
Yeah.
From Cheech and
Yeah,
Chong.
Cheech and Chong.
Surprisingly enough, has done and he sells it. He sells, I think, a nano CBD. Has done significant research, partnered with some doctors, but there's actually some research on PubMed about the CBD oils and their effect, and all of them also say that it's metabolized through the liver. So you have to be careful, because like anything else, there's a study that specifically says they have seen significant progress and improvement, and it's very promising in the aspect of improved brain and liver function. So it is promising. It's extremely promising. But at the same time, it also specifically states that it is metabolized through the liver, and too much or in excess can actually cause liver damage.
Wow.
And do the exact opposite. So if you're trying to fix your heart or your fatigue or your whatever by taking CBD oil or your pain management, and you think, okay, I need more and more and more and more, and it's not necessarily an addiction thing, it's the rate in which your body, the best way to absorb something like that is straight through the blood, intravenous, which is why when you go to the hospital, you have a bad infection, they stick you with an IV, they don't give you a pill. Or through your lungs. Problem is you don't want to inhale anything, period. I don't care what it is. It's not good for the cellular structure of your lungs to absorb anything other than oxygen. So that's why you're not supposed to smoke it, because those are the two best ways. Now, people can't readily just inject themselves, typically, with stuff like this. So they're working on different ways to get it into your bloodstream and into your body, so you don't have to take mass quantities that will metabolize through your liver. So it's that thing. Like, you find something that has all of these wonderful qualities and is absolutely fantastic, and it doesn't have 72,000 pages of side effects, but too much of a good thing can cause significant problems. So the studies need to come in to say how much to take.
Yeah.
It's not so much, is it a good or a bad thing? It's you know, what do you take? How do you 2 drops, 6 drops, 6 pills, 13 pills? Do you take it 10 times a day, 1 time a day, once a week, once a month?
Yeah.
So if you're not doing studies, if you're just observing, and that's the thing, so many of these supplements are based on observations. They're not based on clinical trials.
Hal, glad to have you with us.
Oh, hey,
and
Dad.
our good friend, Kristen Carlson.
Our favorite local vet.
Good to have you with us. And stick around. Don't go anywhere, folks, because you know, these are real popular, and there's some myths out there, and there's some myths a little bit later in the show that we're gonna pop or deep. Anyway, we'll be like myth busters.
I don't know if we can coin that phrase, although I did love that show. I like to blow stuff out. That was my best. So,
hey, Ted, welcome in.
I've taken a lot of supplements in my years. I've sold supplements. I've been part of multi-level marketing, and I'm not saying that they're bad. My grandfather and mother-in-law, who have since passed, they sold Shackley. They were a part of Shackley forever, since like the inception of it up until they passed. Like that's, and I'm not saying it's bad, but my personal opinion is that a supplement is a supplement. It's meant to supplement something that you don't have. Not, I eat well, I eat 3 times a day, I do whatever. So I need to you don't need to supplement if I don't take supplements.
Hey, I mean, you take a look at the guy who lives in New York, jogs 3-4 miles a day, takes supplements left and right, lives to be about 43, has a heart attack. Right. Yet Granny down, rocking on her porch, rolling her own cigarettes and drinking her own moonshine, lives to 110. Yeah. You figure that out.
Yeah. I mean, my mom eats like crap.
Yeah.
Not to any discredit to my sister, because God knows my sister puts up and tries to feed her the best she can, and she still, if my sister didn't regulate it, she'd probably smoke 16 packs of cigarettes a day, and some people are just like that, and but that's what's so funny about, and I don't want to knock the supplements, because I know a lot of people who sell supplements, and I know a lot of supplements that do a lot of good, and they do good, and as you get older, you don't process things the same. And sometimes you just can't physically, like I, as a girl, not to overshare, but I'm going to overshare. Once a month, I lose a lot of iron. I have no choice. I already have an issue absorbing iron. So I have to take an iron supplement. There is no way that I can literally get enough through food. So I have to take that supplement. I don't take a multivitamin. I don't take anything else. I literally take just iron. So there are times, and I'm actually kind of skipping ahead because that's actually one of our myths, is about if you know supplements are never needed, which is not true. There are certain circumstances, if you're vegetarian or you're vegan, or if you have an iron deficiency, or if your body has troubles absorbing, certain vitamins or minerals or anything.
Well, they're called supplements. They're not called replacements.
Exactly. So when you have something this big giant shake that's supposed to replace all these things, or these meal replacement plans, and I get, like, if you don't have time to eat meals and that's your choice to get a breakfast is to take some kind of shake or something else, my preference would be to take real food and blend it up in a blender and drink that.
Yeah.
Because I feel that, like we were just saying, when it's all natural, but once you start meddling with it, it's no longer really natural.
Yeah, I'll do I'll do fruit, bananas, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, a scoop of peanut butter.
I would have never thought avocado in a shake, and a friend of mine who is literally an avocado nut, Dawn, if you're listening, I'm talking about you. She loves avocado. She will eat. I make an avocado hummus, and she would murder me if I didn't give her some of it every time I make it.
That would be delicious.
But she puts avocados in shakes, and I never thought about it. I'm like, I don't want that taste in there, but it's so mild. It gets
creamy,
you the great fats
oils,
that you need, and it fills it up, and it makes it nice and thick. So it's like, holy shit, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
What was I was going to mention? I had a snippet here from Harvard EDU, and I was trying to think of why I wanted to. It's because everything talks about the cure-all.
Yeah.
In the way that the studies are shown, or it, like I said before, where it's observational, it's not clinical trials. So the caveat to that is that the information is useful, but it's not reliable. You have no control. You have no idea if it's a placebo effect. You have all of these things because it's observational, because it's done by people who are willingly taking something. So if I take oil of oregano and you take oil of oregano, we're two people who decided that we wanted to take it. You're basing it specifically off of our life.
Yeah.
Not, I'm going to take 10 random people who some have and some haven't taken this, plus the control and plus this, and lifestyles and everything and similar, so you can get as much of a control as you can to actually do a clinical trial over a large observable group of people. That's the significant difference. So
yeah, and that's what it's saying here, right? The big caveat: while that strategy can yield useful information, it isn't nearly as reliable as testing a particular supplement against a placebo in a controlled setting. When that was done, the more stringent randomized controlled trials often found no effect for the supplement.
Right. And that's the thing. There's not very much actual clinical study that say definitively that there's a benefit from certain supplements. And when they do find a benefit, like with oil of oregano, it tends to go further. And they start, like CBD oil. Once they say, okay, this is just a bunch of hokey wokey, and then, well, now, we've actually seen enough that we're going to do this. And then they actually do a clinical trial and say, okay, this actual trial produced results showing that there was at least a significant of enough of an effect that it could be, let's keep doing it. And that's why, so many of these supplements just keep running around and coming back because they're not really doing a whole lot. It is a lot of that placebo effect of somebody said it would, but if it was really working, you would continue to take it or be cured.
Well, and we're all looking for, right?
Get rich quick.
Yeah, well, we're all looking for the magic pill, the fountain of youth, that one thing that whatever ails me is going to take care of.
Right.
And it's not out there.
Believe me, when they told me my liver was, I searched high and low. I was digging up rocks.
Sure.
I wanted so bad to not have the answer be that I had to watch every ounce I ate, check my blood pressure every day, weigh myself every day, and get my blood tested every week for the first year. I wanted that, sure, because I was on, I don't remember, 14 or something medications. I didn't want to be on the medications.
Yeah.
And I got laughed at, legitimately in my face, laughed at, and he even apologized. But he's like, when I said I don't want to be, how do I get off the medication? No, I mean, it's good that you're ambitious, but he had to hold it back because, I mean, in his defense, 20-year GI guy, he's seen people just die left and right of advanced cirrhosis. And here I am. Yep, I quit drinking, quit smoking. I'm 3 weeks in. What do I do? How do we get off this medication? Chop, chop. Let's do it.
That's it. Hear me roar.
So, of course, a year and a half later, he's like, I don't know who you are. You are, his words, you are literally the poster child for cirrhosis, but let's go ahead, take you off the last medication, see how it goes. And here I am, years later, still, I mean, it's a lot of work. And there's a chance that I will have to go back on those.
Well, and it'll go back to understand, and you've got a good list of, hey, if you need vitamin D, here's some food.
Yeah.
Some food. And we've gone away from that. I mean, even when we were kids and we had the food pyramid, it was just like
skewed.
It was just like, hey, you need to eat.
Yeah.
You need to eat 3 servings of milk a day because that helped out the dairy, industry. But it didn't say, hey, you need to eat, kale, spinach because it gives you iron.
The why behind it.
Right. So we still don't know. And so what we've done is we've taken food and made it a comfort instead of a fuel.
Right.
And that's really what it is.
That's what's the amazing thing is the human body is absolutely incredible. I mean, we still know so little. It's like, staring at the bottom of an ocean through a boat 3 miles up. Yeah. You really don't know. There's so much that we don't know. But the amount of things that I've discovered that are fixed purely by food, and the things that are so beyond screwed up purely by food. So something so simple as, and I talked about this in the past, I was doing great. I'm 6-8 months in, driving home from somewhere, needed something to drink. Didn't want just plain water. I wanted something else. So I grabbed a flavored water, and it was colored. It was red. No sodium. No other stuff. Like, sweet, I'm done. Sweet, I'll take it. I'm at a gas station. It's my only option outside of water and pop that I'm not going to drink. And it wrecked me for a week. And I'm like, I must have screwed. Maybe it's because you do every once in a while you get a flare up. Something in the environment, someone's perfume,
sure,
your body hormones, whatever it is. You just get. I'm like, I didn't do anything. I didn't attribute it to a flavored water. A few weeks passed, same thing, same situation. Stopped at a gas station, got a flavored colored water. Screwed me up for a week, and I went, son of a bitch. So I did my own test, got all back on my track. Did it again on purpose, flavored water. That coloring, how everybody always talks about the blue dye and whatever, it's going to kill your babies and this, that, and the other. That back to that filter scenario, my liver, to filter out that color, backed all of that shit right up in my veins until it could process it. Because what happens with liver disease is, if you think of a crusty sponge, water still goes through it, but all of it's rock hard except for a couple little channels. So it's not like it graduates down and 95% of my liver is bad and the last little corner is 100%. It's these little pockets of good cells throughout. So you got a 15-lane highway that suddenly has to filter down to 1 lane, and I just filled it with garbage So all of that sludge has to filter through.
Jeez.
So that means all of the bile and ammonia and sugars and salts and fats and proteins and carbs and all of these things that my liver has to filter just for me to be healthy just circulates in my blood, builds up in your brain. It's just bad.
Wow.
All from a coloring in a water. So if I want to overdose on salt, if it's just real food because I like beets and beets are naturally high in sodium, it doesn't affect me the same way as if I have something that has like a soup that has a processed aspect to it. When it has all of those processed things in it, screws me up beyond belief.
Well, and that's, Ted says, he's on 12 medications right now. He's trying to get off of a lot of them. I never quite, and I know I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on the radio, but if I've got to take a medicine to fight off the effects of another medicine,
I've actually had that.
I have to start thinking, is there something that I can do? Why do you know what I mean?
Oh, I do. I was on a medication that gave me headaches.
Yeah.
So they gave me a medication for headaches that gave me heartburn. So then they gave me a medication for heartburn. And I was like, this is, you're giving me pills for pills for pills. And part of the reason that made me ask my doctor, how do I get off these pills, is I said, so I'm researching all of this, and none of the pills have nutritional specs. So I don't know what I'm taking. Like, I know I need potassium, but this isn't just a solid pill of potassium. There's something else in here holding all this garbage together. And then there's got to be something that helps it so that my body, because most of them are water soluble or fat soluble, whatever, there's a way that my body has to actually absorb these. And most of them are sodium fillers. So is part of the problem that I'm taking all these pills that my body has to process all of this stuff to get the stuff out of the pills? So isn't that taxing my liver? Well, it's kind of like a necessary evil. But is it?
Right. Is it
Like, if I
really?
need potassium, can't I just eat 6 more bananas a day? So that's what I do.
Yeah, absolutely right. Hal says they make money off pills.
Right. But
Yeah.
they do.
Yes.
They do. It is not profitable to cure. It is only profitable to
You don't
treat.
see a pharmaceutical rep rolling around in a Chevette.
Yeah, you're right. They're not lining up to sponsor my show. But that's the thing. So I did. I started researching and found out that, one after the other, okay, potassium affects this, and potassium helps me get rid of the sodium. So if I overdose on sodium, I can get stuff with potassium. And proteins are harder to digest, so I need more fats and more calories. And of course, fats and calories make you fat, so you need good fats and bad. So I'm researching all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, how do I do this? And honest to God, the easiest way was literally to just eat real food. Like you go back to even now, if you find a tribe somewhere on the planet that's as minimally touched by modern man as possible, and they eat all day long, they eat what they can get, and if they kill an animal and eat the protein, they all get 1-2 ounces of it if they're lucky, and they just all constantly all day long, fruits, berries, nuts, stuff like that. It's not processed grains and wheats and breads.
Yeah, you go down into the rainforest, right? And those tribes that are down there, there's not too many of them that look like me.
Right? But yet they live to be like 80 million years old. They don't have cancer.
That's right.
They don't have liver disease. And it's not that they don't have issues every once in a while, but most of those issues
we don't have a leopard that comes into the village.
Us.
Yeah, no, right. We don't have a leopard that comes into the village and eats our children either.
Right. So I just started discovering, I look and say, okay, I need vitamin D.
Yeah.
How do I get that? But for vitamin D, you also need calcium. So how do I get that? And that's where, everybody knows, I hate bananas, but it's the easiest way for me to get the sugar, the protein, the fiber, all of that, and the potassium to get past my fatigue in the morning, because I'm chronically fatigued all day long. So that's the easiest way, is that banana. So that's what anytime I always say, you don't know what to change unless you know what you're missing. So unless you actually go to a doctor and get blood work done and have a full panel to say you're vitamin E deficient or you're way high on vitamin A, you might want to back that off or you're going to kill your kidneys. So if you eat spinach all the time, spinach salad, spinach with your breakfast, spinach with your dinner, Right, you think you're going to turn out like Popeye when in actuality you're going to overdose on vitamin A and you're going to cause massive issues with your organs because you can't, too much of a good thing is a bad thing. So you can't just say one thing or the other. It has to have a balance.
And a lot of people's insurance will cover that.
Oh, yeah.
As a preemptive or
I have to
pre-screening
say,
or whatever, yeah.
my new doctor,
check it out.
the last couple of years, I don't know who trains the people that does his billing,
Yeah.
but I've never had to question a bill.
Pete, the old producer, just remembered they got the show here today. It says, "Hey, I have a bowl of hot peas right now. I don't know what he's doing with them." He's not a vegetable guy, right?
I was gonna say he's.
Yeah, that's a green vegetable.
Is there cheese on it?
Yeah, right.
There's gotta be. Is it mixed with macaroni and cheese? Because I mean,
that's not bad.
Me, I love peas.
I do too.
I will literally eat.
I'll eat them right.
I will. I love
snap peas,
peas.
sugar peas. You bet. Peas.
Yeah. So no, I just found that it was so overwhelming, which is why it's overwhelming for so many other people. Is you start reading all this stuff and you go, holy crap! And I need this, and I need this, and how do I do that? And it's just easier to take a pill. It's easier to take a shake. It's easier to take a supplement to fix all of these things. What is causing the problem in the first place? So if you're taking supplements or essential oils or whatever because of hormone issues or headache issues or what is causing it? Because chances are there's an underlying issue to why you're having whatever you're having. If you're gaining weight and you're not eating food, you might have a thyroid or a hormone issue. If you're getting headaches, you might have a leak. Like you can actually have a spinal fluid leak. It happened to me when I had a spinal tap. Yeah. So you have to be careful.
Well, and the other thing that I would highly recommend to people is who is the guru that you're going to?
Right.
Is it a dietitian? Is it somebody who's got a degree in?
And even dietitians, you got to be careful with.
Or is it the 23-year-old that's looking to get rich? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What, is it the?
And it's not that they don't mean well. It's
right.
If they're being told that this stuff is good for people, and they believe it, then that's the thing is when you believe so wholeheartedly in something and you convince somebody else. So when I'm the one that says, well, okay, 2 questions. Is it metabolized through the liver? And if so, are there any studies that show how it affects the liver? And usually it's done in mice or rats, but it is anything at all.
Right.
Is there anything that's going to show me? Because I have 3 to 5% of a functioning liver. So no.
Well, yeah, and keep in mind, Mary, the thoughts and content of this show are what she's found that work for her life.
Right.
Right?
100%.
We are giving you some great ideas, but my goodness, if you don't have the same lifestyle that she has, what she's saying can lead to a healthy lifestyle, but also may not be very healthy for you.
The truth behind that, it cannot be more extremely expressed. And I've said this, your genetic makeup. If your heritage all the way back to the beginning of your bloodline is meat and potatoes, Irish, Scandinavian, and I'm telling you to eat fish, it's probably going to make you sick. Your genetic biome is made and evolved over time for certain things. Yeah. So because I eat a banana every day and I thought about this, people all the time on websites put all these things about like their weekly diets and stuff. That's great. Like your meal plan, you want my meal plan? You want to eat oatmeal with honey every single day, maybe some mixed in fruit, or a banana every single morning.
And honey is not her neighbor.
No. I mean, it may not work for you. It's just, it might not agree with you. It might cause bigger problems. It's just bad.
And before we get into the myth busting or the myths, one of the funnest things you can do if you enjoy food is it just experiment, right? Mm-hmm. One thing that I absolutely love, I love a good screwdriver. I absolutely love a good screwdriver. But let's say that I have 3 or 4 of them. Mm-hmm. right? And I'm not talking the short ones. Let's just say that the big
Right.
ones. I will actually gain 2 pounds the next morning that I watch now. I could have a beer, and I don't, right? So I watch the way my body reacts to different foods,
Right.
different scenarios, different times of day. Now, hey, yeah, it doesn't matter. I could have those screwdrivers at 3 in the afternoon. I've had them at 3 in the afternoon, and then go and work out, and it's still the next day. It doesn't matter. So I just know, all right, well, if I want to enjoy a couple of screwdrivers,
Right.
I'm
I'm
gonna-
wearing my loose pants tomorrow.
that's right.
My fat pants are coming out. They better be clean today.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it is absolutely fun to experiment to see how your body reacts to different foods. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, I think, and well, you and Pete and I did anyway. I don't know if
Yeah.
it was on the air, but how now chocolate.
Yeah.
Milk chocolate. I can't have a Snickers any time
you
during the day.
heartburn.
It gives me heartburn.
And it's the things that we discover. And I mean, the amount of things that I've learned that affect my body, both in good and bad ways. I don't have to take pills for headaches or, whatever. And if my pain, now with my newfound spinal lesion crap, nerve damage, if I can't manage it through my diet, then my acupuncturist is who helps me with that. And again, same thing. It could be placebo. I mean, granted, it's like 5,000 years of medicine, but it could be. My husband said that. I'm like, whatever. It works for me. It got rid of migraines. It helps, and I'm upright on a regular basis with nerve damage because of that. So that's what works for me. So I don't have to take pharmaceuticals. And there isn't. Sometimes you're just so beyond messed up that you have to take those medicines, and it's a hard road back. And that's why I fought so hard to get off of them, because like anything else, if you take a painkiller, you got to take more. And if you take blood thinners or you take blood pressure medication or
cold medicine can clog those
Right.
canals in your liver or whatnot, right?
So
I mean, it's
you start taking more and more because it affects you less and less, and it's the reverse. Like you get better and better and better, and you don't know how bad you feel until you feel really, really good. So now if I'm feeling bad, I can eat a banana or something, and I do pretty good.
And if you are stressed, I mean, there's a great app out there called Calm.
Yeah.
Just get down, calm down.
I would play that on my TV. Every time I see the commercial, I'm like, ah.
I know. I stop.
That was my 30 seconds.
I watch the whole ad.
Right.
Oh, there it is.
So let's. So those of you out there probably have heard of somebody called Henry Ford. He's been around. Well, he's not around anymore.
He had been around.
But he was around for a long time. He did a lot of great things.
You'll see his name out on the road. So.
Right. Every once in a while, you might drive by one. They're pretty rare.
Yeah.
But they're there.
They're there.
So there's also Henry Ford Health Systems. And I stole these myth buster things from Henry Ford Health Systems because it's actually a pretty good website with a lot of useful information.
That's right.
So
if you have a myth, go ahead and put it out there. Hey,
Good
Gary.
morning.
Good
morning.
morning.
It's morning in Singapore,
Yeah,
apparently.
it is. Good morning. And of course, myth number 1.
As I'm dying.
Chokes her right up.
Right. So the myth is that taking a multivitamin can make up for a poor diet and prevent diseases. No. So we touched on this a little bit. The reality is that the fact is that scientists are still undecided about whether multivitamins are effective. Some studies suggest that must have gotten cut off. They might protect against premature death. Others show that they offer no benefit. Either way, food is always the first and best prescription.
They just call them multis.
Oh, multis instead of multivitamins.
Yeah, multis.
So my husband and I call it expensive pea.
Oh, yeah. But it's golden. It really gives you a lot of colorful.
It smells great sometimes too, depending on the multivitamin. But again, the multivitamins I mean, it's like 7,000 milligrams of vitamin C. And
which one's right? And this one
like,
says nature on it, and this one says God's finger. And
this one's the best. We talked about this a little bit. All supplements are safe because they are natural.
all natural.
They are all natural. Everybody sees that in the title all the time. All natural melatonin, all natural vitamin C. All, you know what? If it was all natural vitamin C, it'd be an orange. I'm sorry, but as soon as we start messing with it and take it and put it in a pill, and that's exactly what this says. The potential to be healing is also the potential to be harmful. Even though nutrients come from nature, when manufacturers process them into pill form, they no longer are natural. They become unnatural. What's more, natural doesn't necessarily mean safe or effective. After all, arsenic is natural, but an effective carcinogen and cancer-causing. So, what's the next one? So, myth, you cannot overdose on vitamins. That is false. Vitamin A is one of the big ones.
Did happen to Elvis.
Yeah. That's fact.
Yeah,
It's proven. It's on video. I think it's the same video as the Kennedy video.
Yeah.
So, too much vitamin A can affect your liver. In pregnant moms, it can lead to birth defects. Excess vitamin B6 can cause nerve damage. Too much vitamin C can turn the famous antioxidant into a pro-oxidant, which actually damages body cells. So that's why I say, just because something's good for you doesn't mean you need to eat spinach all the time. It's loaded in vitamin A. So you got to be careful. And Gary, mercury is natural too.
That's
it
right.
is. So is potassium, and they use it as the last thing to kill you with the death chair.
That's right. And of course, I mean, the good thing is with these supplements, I mean, the FDA, they're tightly regulated.
So myth number 4, as Kent just brought up, supplements are tightly regulated. That is not even close. Not even a little bit. Unlike prescription and over-the-counter medications, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration does not determine whether or not dietary supplements are safe and effective before they hit the marketplace. We are at the mercy of the manufacturers. They do regulate, the FDA and the FTC regulate, or I'm sorry, they don't regulate. They monitor label information. Yeah. So even when you're looking at labels in grocery stores, they monitor it for things that are lethal, things that cause major allergies.
Yeah. So just think of a 24-year-old parent monitoring their child at the playground while looking at their phone the entire time.
Right. That's about how closely.
But they're being monitored.
Yes. While drinking a latte.
That's right. If you're eating way too much spinach, please maintain a safe gas vapor distance. It's more than 6 feet. That's those are called greenhouse.
Apparently, Gary's met my husband.
Yeah, those are called greenhouse gases. That's right.
And I said earlier, I skipped forward. Supplements are never necessary.
Yeah.
That's not true. Supplements, like I said, I take iron. Mm-hmm. I do take vitamin D during the winter. Vegans
we haven't
take
seen the
vitamin
sun.
B12.
We've only seen the sun 2 days this
I know.
year. It's kind of crazy.
That's kind of depressing.
All right, Kendra. Thanks for popping in. Have a great evening at work.
Have fun. Thanks for watching and listening. And
Well, yeah. I mean, if there's a lot of people out there who are lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
You're going to need to find that vitamin D, that calcium, someplace. But you can do it in foods. Don't need it.
Oh yeah,
necessarily in
that's if you eat fish, you shouldn't really have a problem finding vitamin D. I'm not a big fish person. However, I do like a good old out of the can tuna fish sandwich.
Oh, it's always good.
I don't. I'm whatever.
Are you a Hellman's mayonnaise or do you go Miracle Whip?
So I grew up on Miracle Whip.
Yeah.
Which is salad dressing. Now, my husband and I are straight up
Mayonnaise.
real mayo.
You make it.
And even then, a lot of times we don't use it anymore because I found the amount that I have to put on a sandwich for me to taste
really
it.
Get it, yeah.
I'd rather have like a huge slice of tomato or some avocado to bring the moisture to a sandwich that you want. Mm-hmm. But now that most of the time I make my own bread, my bread just tastes good, so I don't need any of that garbage. Yeah. We got plenty of time to finish all the myths.
Oh yes. We're
So myth number 6. supplements don't interact with medications. Yeah, that is false. For $500. A big one right off the top, as anybody watching from my low sodium community, our lovely little group with now 16,000 members, something like that. Shaking the salt. Vitamin K, potassium. It interacts with just about everything and anything. And when you're looking for, speaking about supplements and substitutes, when you can't have salt, the first thing you look for is a salt substitute, which is almost always potassium chloride, and it interacts with all of your medications that have anything to do with your heart, your liver, your kidneys, your blood pressure.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if you like potatoes and bananas and tomatoes, you are also getting a super high dose. Potassium is surprisingly, through real food, one of the easier ones to get your regulation from. But even grapefruit. So you want to talk about interactions. All natural, not adulterated at all, straight up grapefruit interacts with some medications.
Yeah.
So anytime you're on medication, I know that everybody diligently reads that 14-page essay that they give you about side effects. But you should.
Do you cut it in half?
I don't eat grapefruit.
No?
I just know it interacts with stuff. I don't like grapefruit.
I find it
I
hard.
don't like the pucker.
I find it hard to eat. I memean, you don't eat it like an orange. You don't peel it. I mean,
You
can, I suppose, but that's...
You can turn it into Supremes.
What?
The chef in me that has useless knowledge.
Right.
If you peel all of the skin,
Yeah.
and then all of the pith, and then it's got you have the little things that divide it
Yeah.
in little pie shape, you take a knife and cut down the ribs of each one of those, and it's called a Supreme. So if you ever go to a place and it's got a fruit salad and there's no membrane on them, and you're like, this is fantastic, and it's all fancy, it's called a Supreme.
A Supreme.
That's why people have sous chefs, to cut all those little things out.
Gladys Knight and the Supremes.
Right? Let's see. Myth number 7, you should take vitamins and other supplements on an empty stomach. Yeah, vitamins it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter.
No.
They're water soluble almost always. If you're taking something and it upsets your stomach, it might be an indication you shouldn't be taking it. Part of the reason that you should take stuff with food in your belly is because if you have an empty stomach and you don't drink water and you're dehydrated and it literally just sticks to the lining of your stomach and dissolves, it can cause cramping and things of that nature. But ultimately, most things, at least when it comes to supplements, you absorb it.
Yeah. Ted agrees. Ted says, I can't eat grapefruit. It has a negative effect on one of my meds.
Yeah.
And Gwen's like, hey, my mom ate grapefruit like normal people eat oranges.
Yep. Yeah, that's funny. Normal people. Myth number 8. Supplements always play well together. That's like an Apple phone and every other product on the face of the planet. No.
Yeah.
They don't. They don't play well together. Sometimes they do, but if you're taking a multivitamin, and then you're also taking a vitamin C, and you're doing a supplement shake, and if you look at all those ingredients, and if your multivitamin is 300% of your vitamin K, and then your supplement shake is 600% of your vitamin K, and so on and so forth, and I'm sure you can see where I'm going. But the reality is that some supplements help each other out, just like teammates and like antibiotics. Vitamin C helps the body absorb iron, for example. Others actually work against each other. For example, calcium blocks the absorption of iron, and zinc blocks the absorption of copper. So taking high doses of one nutrient can actually cause a deficiency in another. So like I said, if you're taking calcium and iron pills, you're kind of beating a dead horse.
Right. Offsetting.
So it's just kind of, and those are I thought that was, I was sitting here trying to figure out different ways that I wanted, because there were so many things I wanted to bring up about supplements.
Well, and
I love the Henry Ford blog, so I went there, and sure enough, it's from like 2016, but
I'll almost guarantee, as we got a couple minutes here, I'll almost guarantee that 90% of people in the world take a supplement because a friend suggested it.
my mom's on this, and she's healthy as an ox.
Yep.
She's 70. You should take this.
I took this and felt great.
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't. And that goes back to my thing. When you start taking something or you start taking something out, what was the reason? What was the why? Are you doing it because someone said so? Are you doing it because, well, I'm getting older, I'm over 40 now, and they said that I should start taking vitamin D because I'm a girl or whatever? Or did you actually go and have blood work done? And when I had all my stuff done, some of the stuff that came back, and we were like, holy crap, like you're really good on this, and we need to get you on some iron pills because I'm surprised you have oxygen in your blood at all.
Wow.
So how do you know what to replace or take away if you don't know what the hell you got in the first place?
If you don't know.
So take them or leave them, but do your research and make sure it's from a reputable place before you just start taking things for fact.
And there is no one miracle pill that's going to just take care of you.
I searched. I haven't found it. I'll keep searching, and I'll let you know if I do.
Yeah, you're right. Gary says, the rise of MLM has actually accelerated these supplement taking syndromes. Yeah.
It has. And like I said, there's some good ones, but you just got to do your research and make sure that it's the right one for your situation. And make sure you know your why before you take them.
Got to do it. Of course, we're running into the back end of the hour. We want to just thank everybody, the millions of listeners out there at 216 The Net. Thanks for getting caught in the net here and living in low sodium with my low-so lifestyle, Mary Shep. And, hey, you know what? Come back in 15 minutes over on our YouTube station, our YouTube channel, as It's Your Move will air. And the topic today is, do you think Yoda was a prophet for today's world? Interesting. Interesting. For all of us here, thanks for putting up with a little bit of our technical difficulties. We're working through a few things here. To all of our sponsors, thank you, Mary. Great show. We'll be back next Monday for another go at Living Low Sodium here on 216 The Net.
See you guys next week. You still have to hit end on all those?